Let me get my questions up.
Get them up, girl.
Deep breaths.
I love you.
A little more. There we go.
Your name, where you're from, and then what's your zodiac sign?
My name is Alex Consani.
My name is Amara Gisele Velasquez.
My name is Pifer.
My name is Juli.
My name is Valentine.
Benzo, I'm from Brooklyn.
New London, Connecticut.
San Francisco, California.
Denmark in the countryside.
Gainesville, Florida. And I'm a Pisces.
And I'm a Virgo.
A Pisces.
Leo, big Leo.
I'm an Aquarius sun.
Taurus sun, Virgo moon, Sagittarius rising.
I'm a Sag rising.
Shut up, really?
Yes, oh my God. My name is Nykita. I'm here on behalf of Strands for Trans, which is a global nonprofit that's actually a database of 7,500 queer and trans safe salons so that people can find a salon near them to go and get gender-affirming haircuts or hairstyling.
Oh, cool.
And we are so happy to all be here and talk about all the things gender euphoria. What was your first moment of like gender euphoria and what gender euphoria means to you?
I feel like my first moments of gender euphoria were definitely like when I began my transition.
When I got top surgery in like 2021, I think that's when I felt more of myself.
And I started just like, you know, putting on the things that like I wanted to put on, like the clothes that I enjoyed, the like makeup that I enjoyed, just like being able to present.
I think gender euphoria to me means just really feeling confident and secure and comfortable and powerful in the ways in which you express gender.
I think gender euphoria is so important because for the most part, unless you're in it, you don't understand it.
Gender euphoria isn't necessarily only for trans people. It also happens a lot for cis people.
There are certain boxes and labels that people are put into, and even as a child, I really wanted to break out of those barriers.
When I was little and I would, like after the shower, throw on my mom's dresses or her heels or whatever, and I'd run around and I'd put on little fashion shows for my mom when I was like 4 or 5 years old.
It's so wonderful that you had such a supportive mom.
Yeah,
What's
I mean,
mom's name?
Paula.
Paula.
Shout out to Paula.
Hey, Paula.
I like to say it's kind of like a performance, you know, makeup, hair, clothing, your aesthetic, your style.
I was a lesbian and had a really hard time getting recognized as one because I had long blonde hair. And then I walked out from the salon and this man who's drunk is like waving at me and he's like mouthing, "Are you a lesbian?" And like I just remember that so clearly where I was like, whoa, someone thought I was a lesbian. Great.
When I finally could put like a name to like how I was feeling or a label to how I was feeling, it felt more comforting than just going about the world just not really knowing who I was.
It's not always about how you identify because that's something so personal, and identity is for yourself. It's not for anybody else. And if society looks at you as just your identity, it'll strip you down and it won't allow people to see you for who you are, which is like an amazing, beautiful human. Everybody is an amazing, beautiful human.
Like even when you're walking down the street, it's very important for you to have your head up high and feel confident, and other people catch that too.
Why do trans people now more than ever deserve a seat at the table going into New York Fashion Week this year?
I'm gonna sip my tea for that one. Thank you.
Trying to set you up just so you can.
I feel like society is kind of becoming accustomed to like transness. Having those people represent clothing on humans, I feel like that is so important because like a lot of times like being trans is like the whole idea of a person, especially like in media. It's like this person is trans. They're not just like a pretty person who's wearing some clothes.
You know, everyone sees Fashion Week in one way or another. Everyone gets influenced by it.
Having the ability to have trans people in that place kind of like makes it more digestible, I guess, for people.
Everybody needs to be seen, and I think that's what we're lacking right now. And we're, you know, I think we're moving towards that direction for sure.
It's beautiful to see where we're going in the fashion world.
Long road ahead of us.
Long road ahead of us,
but
yeah.
we're making steps for sure, which I'm very, very grateful for.
Like I'm so grateful we're having this conversation today because, you know, conversation matters, and allowing people to have conversations on platforms like this is so important.
Before I became a model, I didn't ever really see anybody who looked like me or who had any like similar identities to me. I don't think that it's really appropriate or fair to be excluding anybody.
What are your hopes for the trans community in the next 5 years or just in the future in general?
I would love to see just like more types of trans women, you know, in positions of success.
In the fashion world, I would love if things were like genderless. I don't know, I feel like people don't think that it's possible, but I feel like it's fully possible to have a male model walking down the runway in like a little bikini, like super sexy, a little dress, you know?
I hope that pronouns become a more normalized thing.
I want there to be accessible care, especially to trans youth. The hoops that all of us had to go through and have been going through and whatever, I think that's a load of bullshit.
I just would hope for us to like be able to feel accepted and the recognition and the spotlight that we deserve. I think it's just long overdue.
You know, being trans isn't hard, dealing with the people around us that are not so welcoming, that's the hardest part.
I think it's really important to recognize like the dangers that so many people are in.
I know a lot of people personally who have like lost their lives to like violence and stuff, and like it happens at such a staggering level for Black trans people.
I would also love to see more Black trans women given this platform.
I think something that I'm most hopeful for is access to resources on a federal level, not just a state-by-state approach. I mean, when we talk about trans rights, we're talking about human rights, civil rights, basic civil rights, and people are fighting for their bodily autonomy.
What would you tell people now who are just starting on their gender euphoria journey?
You need to find those people that support you for you, regardless of like how you stand, regardless of how you feel, regardless of any of that.
There will be a time where you're out of that uncomfortable space with the people that you're around or the clothes that you have or lack thereof or whatever it may be. Like, it just takes time and it takes a lot of work and energy, but like in the end, it's so worth it.
You always have yourself and you always have what you believe in, and no one can say shit about that girl because you're you.
And I think I should have spent my years more looking inside of myself, because it took me a long time before I realized what was actually going on.
To just really be sound in who you are, to be confident. This world is not a safe space for us. And it is so important for us to really cultivate those safe spaces and also just take solace in our own identities and who we are and how we show up in this world.
Once you realize that and you're able to like push past whatever society wants you to feel like or look like, you're really able to just like thrive.
Period, that was beautiful. So behind you, if you take a quick look, there are a couple of signs on the ground. And just as we wrap up, I would love to see which sign that you would choose and why.
Amplify the voices of the Black trans people around you.
If we like start with the youth and like equip them with ways to protect themselves, it can make an impact in the future.
They need to be protected at all costs.
At all costs, girl. I will lay down in the lines. I will be in those trenches, girl. Best believe it.
Because we were there once too.
Protect Black trans women. They are the girls that matter. They're the girls that started it. They're the girls that are doing it right now behind the woodworks, and they should be getting in the fucking forefront because these women change lives.
When everybody is in the conversation, we can all experience liberation.
And you heard it here first.